Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. And I'm trying a different setup today, so let me know what you think. And if this is your first time seeing my face, hello. And if you're just here for the free Dragonhorn STL, link in the description below. So this past week was the Renaissance Festival,
Oh yeah!
and we had a lovely time. But a few weeks back, I mentioned that a friend of mine was dressing up in like a dragon theme outfit, and I wanted to try and make the horns for her. And if you're interested in how I made the horns, you can click this video right here that I did. It's a lesson on curves. It's really long, but in the second half, I actually go through the whole process of making the horns. So, timestamps. But today's lesson is going to be a short one on FDM printing. I'm first going to talk about what it is and what you would use it for versus SLA printing. So, first of all, what does FDM stand for? It stands for Fused Deposition Modeling, which basically just means it uses spools of filament uh, like this uh, to print just one small layer at a time. And one reason you would use FDM over SLA is that um, the filament is much more sturdy, usually, than the resin. I've had a lot of like resin models break because they're so brittle. But if you're trying to print something that you're going to be using for practical reasons like game trays or paint holders, you definitely want to go the FDM route. And another reason why you would use FDM over SLA is SLA uses this like messy, sticky, poisonous liquid. And you have to wear gloves and it's like a whole thing. But with FDM printing, once it's done printing, you could just handle it and you're good to go. But the bad thing about FDM printing is it usually leaves these bumpy layer lines. So if you're trying to print something with a very high amount of small detail, like miniatures, then FDM printing is probably not the way to go. But yeah, here are the horns right after they were taken off the supports. And as you can see, it needs to be cleaned up a lot. What I did was I sanded it down and then I sprayed it with filler primer. And then I sanded it again and then filled it again. And then even after that, there were still some layer lines that you could see, but I figured once you paint it, uh, not a lot of people will be able to notice. Okay, real quick, I just want to show you how I oriented this. So this is just one of the horns, and I laid it face down. So we're just gonna rotate this. Oop, wrong. Like so. Yep. And if you go up here, there are these settings, and for support, all you need to do is click this, and it will automatically generate supports. And for the infill, so if it's at 0, this will be completely hollow, but I wanted it to be a little sturdier, so I actually put it at 20. But I think 20% was a little too much, but it definitely was very sturdy. So 10% will probably be fine. And then, yeah, that's all you have to do. You just click slice, and then it'll start generating everything. And then as you can see here, it says the time that it's going to take to print this is 1 day and 4 hours and 56 minutes. And then if we click preview, it actually shows a preview of what it's going to look like with all the supports. So it's a little laggy because this is just a lot of information. But yeah, you can see all the supports here, and if you drag this down, so right now it's at 410 layers, you can see how it'll print, like step by step. And yeah, that's the infill. It does like this cross uh, pattern so that it's very, you know, stable on the inside. And then all you have to do is save to disk, put it on your little USB drive, and then stick it in your 3D printer, and then off you go. And I am facing it down like this because um, the more rougher detail is going to be on the bottom. And since, if you look at this, the bottom part here is going to be on the inside of the horns, more people will not notice it because this is the outside, and the outside will be cleaner than the bottom. So less work to kind of sand this part out. So yeah, typically, and this applies to SLA printing too, the part that you don't really need to be that clean should be on the bottom, typically. And when we get to SLA printing, we'll talk about overhangs and that stuff. But um, with FDM printing, all you need to do is just click the support and it'll just auto generate support wherever it has an overhang like this. Okay. But yeah, these supports are very sturdy, and I actually hurt myself trying to chip away at the little, because once you start cutting them up, it becomes very jagged. So please be careful when you do this. As you can see, I'm like bleeding from my endeavors. But yeah, after they were done, I sprayed it black, and then I took and I dry brushed it with copper. And then I dry brush the edges with gold. And the finished product looks something like this. And then I put it on this like headband. And then I drilled some holes. If you can see it right here. And then just, yeah. I drilled some holes into the headband and then screwed it onto the horns where the two holes are that I made. And then it just goes on like this. And I think they look pretty good. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about with FDM printing. And hopefully, you know a little bit more about it. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll try to get to them as soon as possible. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.